Welcome back to the library. Let's begin. Corey's kitchen and living area shared one space with a worn leather couch, 2 chairs, and a table. The boy didn't have much trouble finding his way around. He hung his hat on the back of one of the kitchen chairs and took a seat. "You can have fried bologna or cold bologna," Corey offered. "Which one you want?" "You got any eggs?" the boy asked. "Yeah, you want eggs instead?" "I like fried egg and bologna sandwiches." An unnamed emotion squeezed Corey's heart. Dang if the kid didn't have the same liking for fried eggs and bologna sandwiches that he did. He'd eaten a mountain of them when he was his age. "Sounds good to me. Why don't you break out some ice and pour us both a glass of tea while we get these sandwiches made?" 2 sandwiches, 3 glasses of tea, and a hunk of chocolate cake later, the boy appeared to be slowing down. Good thing, Corey mused. He was now out of bread, cake, and tea. "It's sure hot in here," the boy said as he pushed his plate back. "Don't you have air conditioner?" "It quit working last week. I haven't had time to check it out. There's some shade on the back porch. Let's move out there, maybe catch a breeze." The back porch was too small for chairs, so Corey sat on the top step and motioned for the boy to do the same. It was a tight fit, their shoulders only 6 inches apart, but the boy didn't seem to care. He knew the kid had something on his mind. Why else would he hitch 8 miles just to end up on the back porch steps of a man he didn't like? Maybe he wanted some help with his bull riding technique after all. It would be a lot easier if they could build some kind of relationship before he told the boy he was his father. Yeah, he could ease into this whole father thing, making it better for him and the boy. The whole afternoon was free. They might as well get started. "You got something on your mind? Something you want to ask me?" The kid slid off the step and moved to stand in front of him, making the level of their eyes about the same. That was another thing he liked about this kid. He was not afraid to look a man in the eye. "How come you made my mom pregnant? Don't you know about safe sex? I'm only 12, and I know about it." Corey felt the heat move up his neck and pool around his eyes. It was everything he could do not to lower them. A few times in his life he'd felt ashamed, but he'd never been shamed, not as those words had done. His son had asked him a straight question. He was not going to give him anything but a straight answer. "At 18, I wasn't half as smart as you appear to be. I was arrogant and selfish. I wanted to have sex with your mother, so I used her feelings to convince her that if she loved me, she would give in to me. It is not something I'm proud of, so let me give you a piece of advice. A real man doesn't bargain with his lady's heart." Does that answer your question? By the red flush moving up his son's face, Corey knew that his honesty had been more than the boy had expected. "My mom said that you loved each other. Is that true?" "Yes, I loved your mother. Whether or not she loved me, you'll have to take her word for that." "I already did. When she told me about you, I asked her then. She said you were the only man she ever loved. She also said that you were a scoundrel sometimes, too stubborn for your own good." Corey couldn't miss the gleam of mischievous satisfaction in the boy's eyes as he shared that last little thought. "How do you feel about what she told you?" Corey asked, trying to get a feel for how deep the water of this conversation was going to get. "You mean about you being my father?" "I didn't like it at first, but I've had a couple weeks to get used to it. You aren't anything like my dad. I mean, Mr. Covington." The boy's eyes drifted then, as if he were temporarily somewhere else. "It's okay to call Les Covington Dad. If he was good to you and your mom, he deserves to be remembered with respect. He was a great guy, and he was always nice to Mom. Not like you, making her cry a lot." "Well, your mom and I have some problems that you wouldn't understand. Sometimes that makes it hard to be nice to each other." "Mom said you didn't understand and were too bullheaded to listen, so I'm going to tell you anyway. She's going to be mad at me when she finds out, but I think you should know." "Know what, Joey?" "She said her father found out about you sneaking up to her bedroom. He made her pack the next day, and he sent her to live with my great-aunt Lisa in England. My grandfather didn't let her come home for almost 2 years. By then you were already in jail. She couldn't help you with your trial because she wasn't here. She didn't know. When she did find out, her dad threatened to have something bad happen to you in jail if she tried to get you out." Corey rose to his feet and walked to the corner of the porch. His head spun and his stomach churned. He grasped for the corner post just as his stomach decided to empty its contents. "Gosh, man, are you okay?" The boy's voice rose with panic. Corey grabbed the water hose attached to the faucet by the steps. He rinsed his mouth and splashed the cool liquid on his face. "Yeah, I'm fine," he said as he reached to turn off the water. "Are you sure?" "Yeah." "Well, you want to hear the rest then?" Corey propped one foot on the bottom step. He crossed his arms and, leaning forward, braced them across his legs. "You want to tell me?" "Yeah, I think you should know." "I'm listening then." "When Mom got back, she was 20. She didn't have a job or money, just me. Her dad said if she wanted to live with him, she'd have to get me adopted. She didn't tell me much about how she got married, just that she did, and then it was the only thing she could do to make sure she could take care of me." The boy stopped talking, and Corey waited to make sure he was through before he replied. "It took a lot of guts to come over here and tell me this, and you were right. I did need to know. Your mother was right, too. I am too bullheaded. I should have listened when she wanted to tell me herself." "You going to stop making her cry now?" Corey put his hand on the boy's shoulder and squeezed. "Joey, I'm going to do a lot better than that. And you can help me if you want." "Sure. What you got in mind?" Tiffany expelled a long sigh and glared at her son. "Joey, what is wrong with you? Can we not have dinner without you jumping up to peer out the window every 2 minutes? Who were you expecting that you haven't told me about? Well, uh, the heavy thud of the door knocker startled Tiffany. Before she could react, her son was halfway through the dining room entry. She was going to have a serious talk with him tomorrow. This habit he had of inviting friends to stay overnight without permission needed to stop. Since she didn't employ evening household help, she usually prepared supper for herself and Joy. In tonight's case, she had only fixed enough for two. Now, she would have to find something to feed his unexpected guest as well. Mom, can my friend stay for supper? Tiffany forced a hospitable smile and rose from her chair. No need to get up, Mrs. Covington. She whirled at the familiar sound of Corey Donovan's voice. May I join you? You don't have to feed me, but I wouldn't turn down a cold glass of tea. His roving eyes left her speechless. They touched every part of her twice over, as he was seeing her for the first time and committing every detail to memory. A thin sheet of perspiration joined the blush she knew heightened the color in her cheeks. Her heart slowed and then lurched into overdrive. Mom, you going to give him some tea? Tiffany grabbed at the lifeline her son unknowingly offered. Yes, absolutely. Sit down, Corey. She took a step toward the kitchen, then paused. Looking back, she asked, Are you hungry? I could eat, he said as he winked at his son. The new crop of goosebumps on her arms grew larger. Joy, bring the plates into the kitchen. We'll finish supper in there. Corey, I only have spaghetti for two, but there is leftover ham in the refrigerator. I could make you a sandwich. Got any eggs? You want eggs instead? Sounds good. You can put some of that ham you offered on the side if you don't mind. Tiffany opened the refrigerator and removed the necessary ingredients. The large kitchen she gave her the breathing space she needed. As long as Corey stayed with Joy at the table, she would be able to get through this domestic nightmare. The two of them had their heads together like old friends. Something was going on here, and she didn't like being in the dark. She would feed them, and then they would have some explaining to do. Mom, I'm kind of tired. Can I have a piece of cake to take up to my room? I'm going to watch some TV for a while. Tiffany panicked. Don't you want to stay and talk to Corey? I'm sure he came over here to visit with you. Joey and I spent the afternoon together working on his balance. He trained hard. He'll probably be asleep before he finishes that cake. Tiffany saw the hand Corey rested on Joey's shoulder. It was a gesture of pride and possession, and he had called his son by his name. The sound of it on his lips made her heart swell, but it also made her uneasy. Okay, take a glass of milk with it. Joy left the kitchen with cake and milk in hand. Suddenly, what had been a large space shrank. She turned to face the cabinets and placed 2 pieces of bread in the toaster. At least she could stay busy for a minute while she thought of something to say. I've never seen you in the kitchen before. Tiffany squealed. He had moved silently to stand behind her, close enough for his breath to caress the side of her face. Yes, well, I've changed a lot since I was 18. 2 strong hands spanned her waist, their heat penetrating through the silk of her blouse to warm her skin. This feels exactly the same. My hands still almost circle you. You always were so tiny, delicate, and beautiful. The toaster popped up perfectly brown bread, with his hand moving around to lie across her flat stomach. She couldn't move a muscle to butter them before they cooled. This is just the same too. I can still feel those butterflies fluttering, the ones you said only appeared for me. When his hands moved upward, Tiffany grasped them, stopping them from reaching her throbbing breasts. "Corey," she said, her breath coming in small rasps. "Please, Corey, I don't know what to do. What do you want?" He turned her to face him and lifted her chin. "You accepted my offer. I'm just letting you know how it's going to be between us from now on." Tiffany's heart sank and she stiffened. She hadn't expected much, but a little discussion or some consideration for her feelings would have helped. "Are you regretting your decision? If you are, just say so." His tone was not angry, but more like someone expecting to be let down, a man ready to defend himself before he got hurt. She wanted this man more than she wanted her pride or dignity. She had always been willing to sacrifice whatever part of her he wanted. 12 years had not changed nothing. "I'm not rejecting you. I just won't be with you in the same house as our son. He'll find out one day, but maybe he'll be older and better able to understand." "Understand what?" "That his mother is a hypocrite, because I won't have lived up to the code of morality that I've always taught him." Corey kissed her then. No preliminaries, no gentle persuasion, just hard, driving passion that she had no will to fight. She wrapped her arms around his neck and held on, giving him what had always been his.